Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about priority of threat, which is essentially a list of things that you are going to encounter within a CQB environment and a hierarchy of prioritization that we give to those things. So the first one being armed people. Obviously, armed people is going to be our number one priority because literally the entire theory and practice of CQB is going into a structure and clearing it with the possibility of you running into somebody who is armed and willing to do you harm. Minus that, the whole idea of CQB would be mute because you could just walk into a structure and do whatever you want without resistance because there's no one in there that's willing to do you harm. So without that, it would be irrelevant. So as a result, armed people, whether they are truly hostile or not, are always going to be our highest priority. Second to that is going to be unarmed people. So just because someone's unarmed doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a threat. Even if they are unarmed and supposedly not hostile, that person can become armed and hostile really at any moment. So unarmed people are our second highest priority until they are determined to not be hostile, secured, and possibly removed from the situation, whether they are evacuated from the building, brought to a collection point, whatever the case is, they are still going to be our second highest priority until basically they are secured. Moving on from there, number 3 is going to be downed threats and bodies. I really like what Clint Smith has to say about this. A lot of people have been shot by people that have already been killed, meaning a lot of people have been shot and killed by people they had already mortally wounded, meaning you shot somebody, you mortally wounded them, but they were still a threat enough to do you harm. So just because you shot somebody and they're downed and even presumably dead does not mean that they're still not a threat. I have taken a lot of sim rounds to the legs by not following that and just assuming just because someone's down that they are actually down for good. And meanwhile, I take my attention off them and they roll around with a revolver or a pistol underneath their belly and they light your legs up or whatever. Bodies and down threats are to be presumed as still a threat until they are confirmed as dead or incapacitated at the very least, and or secured. And how that's done is obviously going to be very dependent upon context and whether or not it's a military or law enforcement context. There's a lot of things that go into that. Moving on from there, the next is going to be dead space and open doors. Dead space and open doors are in the same category because open doors leads to what? Dead space. So in reality, they are the same thing. So dead space and open doors is our next priority. And then finally, it is going to be, number 5 is going to be closed doors. So as an example, let's say you enter a room and there's a closed door between you and dead space. You would bypass that closed door to clear the dead space because it's a higher priority. And that is the list of priority of threat. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please like and subscribe. Also, if you like this kind of content or like exclusive content, particularly on the discussion of CQB, consider joining my Patreon. Links down in the description below, of course. I'm Tyler Austin from Gungnir Strategic. Thank you so much for watching.